Happy Friday the 13th to everybody. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dawn, and I have a degree in religious studies from the University of UWM Milwaukee. Okay, this is just erroneous, and you're going to hear this every Friday the 13th. But I want to debunk this once and for all. There is no myth that Loki is the uninvited 13th guest. And the myth of the Last Supper in no way corresponds to Lokasena.
Judas was the 13th guest, and Loki was the 13th guest.
When Loki orchestrated the death of Balder, he did so at a dinner party where he was the 13th member to arrive, thus being one of the main reasons 13 is considered an unlucky number.
Either related to a story of Loki crashing a party with 12 guests and tricking a god into killing his brother. Others say it was the Vikings who decided a hangman's noose should have 13 loops with 13 steps leading up to it.
Old Norse mythology tells of a banquet that ended in disaster after Loki arrived as an uninvited guest, bringing the total number from 12 to 13.
Loki was the 13th guest.
12 gods were invited to a feast in Valhalla. Loki, the god of mischief, arrived uninvited,
bringing the number of gods in attendance to 13.
In Nordic mythology, the evil Loki is the 13th guest at a banquet of the gods.
Hey, I'm Kyle, Ghost Bros LLC. You may remember me, ... Not today, because today I have a much deeper, heavier message. 13th, Friday. I'm getting sick looking out there and seeing all y'all laughing, joking, pranking. If you guys knew the true history behind Friday the 13th, it wouldn't be funny to you. It wouldn't be cool to be spooky. Why don't you Google something?
This guy was just doing a spoof for some other channel. I thought it was funny. Oh, it has, 10 million results on Google. It must be a fact. But that's not how it works.
It's tied back to Norse mythology surrounding a dinner table or 12 gods, powerful gods, laughing, joking, crying in jubilation. And in walks a 13th uninvited dinner guest.
So this has been debunked. Tell your friends, share, spread the word if it's, something that's never going to stop being regurgitated every Friday 13th.
Friday the 13th and the superstition surrounding that. So yes, 13 guests at the table, very unlucky. This actually has a parallel in the Norse mythology where everyone's favorite Norse god, Tom Hiddleston, was the 13th guest to arrive at a banquet, and he ended up murdering one of the other guests.
Oh,
Nah.
that tricky Loki. That's just Loki.
He tricked someone into murdering a guest. It wasn't his fault.
Yes.
Yeah, he tricked the blind god Hoarder into murdering his brother Balder.
No, it's Hoder.
Balder is already dead by the time of this party. The only one to actually die at Agger's feast is his own servant, Fimafeng. His name means ready service. He's a wonderful waiter, and he was getting all the praise for setting up this beautiful banquet. Loki got very jealous and shanked Fimafeng, killed him for doing such a great job and getting all the attention, which is kind of a buzzkill.
Hoder.
Like Game of Thrones.
Hoder.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's a very fun.
Balder.
I looked at this. The full story behind it is Loki did not like Balder because Balder was essentially the golden boy of the gods. And, Loki thought he was smarter than Balder and didn't like that Balder was getting all the attention for being, a manly man golden boy. So he creates a prophecy that nature will kill Balder, and Balder's mother gets everything in nature to swear an oath upon its existence.
I don't know where people are getting this stuff from, because Loki never had a prophecy that Balder was going to die. It has nothing to do with Loki's prophecy. It was that Balder was having nightmares, and this is a prior myth.
To not harm him. But Loki steals mistletoe and hides it, so mistletoe never hears about the oath. And on the day of the banquet, that's supposed to have 12 people in honor of Balder, Loki...
Stolen by Loki. That's not what happened. The mistletoe was considered too young to take an oath. Nor was this party planned to praise Balder. All of this seems to be added extra stuff.
Crashes the party, and the gods can't get rid of him. And everyone sort of boasts that, Balder's invincible now, he's greater than ever. And Loki says, well, all right, Hoder, he's your brother.
Hogwash.
He trusts you, you trust him. I've got some darts. why don't you throw the darts at your brother? And the darts are made of mistletoe, and it just pierces his skin and kills him.
Damn. That's clever, though.
That's
really
why we
clever.
kiss under the mistletoe.
That's a whole story and a half around that unlucky number with 13.
When people claim to be historical, you have to really fact check. And this is why. And sometimes even the book might get it wrong. The source of this claim seems to be Donald Dosey, who, according to Google, was a folklorist. It doesn't mean everything he's ever said isn't true. I mean, people make mistakes, but the thing about being a theologian or being an academic is if you do make this kind of mistake, you're going to appreciate when someone tells you, hey, you got that wrong.
The term Friday originates from the day of Frigg, which refers to the Norse protector goddess and queen of the gods, Frigg. She was the goddess of love, motherhood, and marriage. And so Fridays were a bad day to get married on, because then you're taking all this importance from Frigg, and you're comparing your marriage to hers. Not the best to do.
Frigga, please. That is not true. There's nothing about getting married on a Friday being unlucky, and that's why she can't give you a valid resource on where that comes from, because it's, fabricated. Almost like she's a jealous goddess and cares that you would be taking away from her glory if you got married on her holy day. There's nothing of the sort. Frigga wouldn't care what day you get married on. So one of her handmaidens is Var, the goddess of oaths and being betrothed. And if I were to theorize that Frigga could be connected somehow, it might be that she had 12 handmaidens. So later in history, when Frigga and Freya and other goddesses were demonized as witches, it would kind of make sense that a witch, there'd be 13 in a coven of witches, and then you had the 13 full moons of the lunar cycle. So maybe, that would be a guess that I would have if it were related, how it could have been viewed that way. But the only connection of Frigga to Friday being unlucky is that Friggophobia in psychology is the fear of Friday. Friggatriskaidekaphobia is the fear of Friday the 13th. We want to be accurate if we're claiming to be historical in teaching theology, history, whatever it is. You can't get those things wrong because you just think it sounds like it. That would be the reason. Correlation is not causation. If you read what Frigga said in Lokasenna, stanza 27, Loki's the reason Balder isn't at the banquet. Know you this, if in Aegir's hall I had a son like Balder, away you would not fare from the Azur's sons, you would not get free of his wrath. And then Loki replies, do you wish, Frigg, that I tell more of my baleful stabs, that I am the reason Balder rides not to this hall? To that feast came Odin and his wife Frigg. Thor did not come because he was way in the east. Thor's wife Sif was there, as was Bragi and Idun, his wife. Tyr was there. He was one-handed because the Fenris wolf had taken off his hand when he was bound. Njord and his wife Skathi were there, along with Frey, Freya, and Vidar, the son of Odin. Loki was there, and Frey's servants, Bigvir and Bela. Many of the Azur and elves were there. Aegir had 2 servants, Fimafanger and Eldir. Even at the very beginning of Lokasenna, you can clearly tell that it is false that Loki is the 13th guest. I just listed Odin, Frigg, Sif, Bragi, Iduna, Tyr, Njord, Skathi, Frey, Freya, Vidar, then Loki. So these gods aren't listed in a chronological order is what you have to keep in mind. It doesn't say Odin and his wife showed up first. It's just listing who was all there. There's more Azur there and many elves as well. You can tell from the dialogue going on that Heimdall is also there. Gefjon, the goddess, is also there. There's nowhere near only 13 guests. And the only god that we know chronologically when he shows up is Thor. He's late, and I think this has to do with Thor quarreling with Harbard and Loki wanting him to be late, so he took the form of Harbard. Many people think it's Odin in disguise, saying horrible things to his son, but that doesn't make any sense. I think it's Loki, which is also talked about in this translation of the Poetic Edda, a different take on that myth, the Lay of Harbard, so it's very fascinating. If you look at it that way, it makes a lot more sense. So again, there were never 13 gods at the feast. We don't know what order they arrived in. We only know Thor arrived last. Just wanted to clear that up because the troth matters, the truth of our lore matters. And I'm wishing all of you a lucky Friday the 13th.